Hello, everybody. My name is Gregory Osborne, also known as Greg OS. I am the lead developer for Rave Gazebo, and I also wrote some of the music, specifically the titular song Rave Gazebo. I collaborated with Michael Davis, and then the song I'm going to show you today, Condiment Tie Dye. That was all me. I did so much developing for like a year and a half. I was like, no, I have to write some music. I gotta. So this was that music. For those wondering, the naming convention I use for my songs is two items on my desk at the time of naming. So I think I had a ketchup packet, and also you can actually tell I'm wearing tie-dye. I always have tie-dye. I have like a tie-dye shirt for every day of the week and more. So Condiment Tie-Dye, kind of an amusing concept. Doesn't really matter. It's just music. It's EDM. The title doesn't matter. So, I guess I should start with the basses. That was the thing I started with. The first thing I wrote was this bass one, and that was... Oh, wait, hold on, let me turn off this wall, because I'm going to just focus on the bass, so... would have been... You can take a look at that. That was just operator, FM synthesizer, and Ableton. It comes when you buy Suite, and it's the FM synthesizer I've been using. I know that I also technically have FM8, but I don't know. I like operator, and I also like just being able to see all of the automation just in one window. Yeah, of course there's distortion on. There's going to be distortion on pretty much everything. And then there's side. An interesting thing about the way I set up sidechain in this project is, I have a sidechain send, which each wall will send its drums to. So right now nothing is being sent there. But like, if say I was to turn on wall 5, and play this again, and I go back here, you can actually see that it is being sidechained by the drums, and that's the way I actually said, because that's the way it's set up in the game audio implementation, is that each wall has its own sidechain layer. I have just a MIDI track that I just send, and so I sidechain from that. So the way I replicate that here is I send the drums to a sidechain bus, which doesn't actually play anything, but does affect the sidechaining on this bass. Also, the other basses, of course. So anything I want sidechained, I just take from the sidechain. For those wondering, I like this bass. This bass was what I composed all of the walls to, and then I went back and added the next two. So the next one I wrote, I forget which one because you have to write the bass to one of the walls, of course. This one's a lot more like melodic than the other one. I mean, the first one does have melody, like I pitch bend it and whatever, but this one has very more like clear pitch stuff, which can be a little like risky when you have 6 walls that it all has to harmonize with. But the way I did that is I actually, like, right here, I kind of made my life a little harder in that here it's all F, and then the actual pitch automation when in like automation, I automated the pitch, so operator transpose. So I had to go and like check this window to see and do the actual math of how many half steps up it is for each note. But I did kind of like follow along with that, and another thing I did was I would play them together. So like I'll play both of them, for example. And it's gonna sound a little messy, but at least you'll be able to tell harmonically like if it works or not. And then they kind of do. The reason I did the pitch, like with the automation for the operator for the first one, is because it lets me do all these fun slides without like having to think about it. I can just like point, and there's just a line between them. I don't have to focus on it myself. It makes it a lot easier to kind of change the character and shape of those slides. And then the last bass that I wrote, and I basically I did this for Rave Gazebo because I wrote the 2 extra basses. Michael did the first one that we composed everything to, but I did the second and the third one for the first song. I did basically the same thing with this third bass, which is just on beat. It's not complicated and it won't interfere too much with all the other walls, especially because with the things that I write, there's always so many different rhythms, like everywhere, all over the place. So a nice way to stay out of the way is just 1, 2, 1, 2. So that's I mean, of course, there's automation and stuff, and I do my best always to automate everything. Like, you can kind of tell it does look kind of random, and to be honest, it is. Just how I actually, like, you know, it's fun, and then you adjust things if you don't like the way it sounds. But like, a lot of this was really just like, sure. You know, you zoom in, you move the automation a little bit, and you see how it sounds. And especially helps to have, say, three different parameters that you're doing, because that way you don't repeat sounds very often, or at least it's very easy to keep things fresh, because, you know, various levels, like the C level is always going, it changes the character a lot. Like, between 5 and 0 is a lot of change in the actual character of that. That's kind of the beauty of FM synthesis, is you don't necessarily need a lot of movement to create big, impactful changes. So that's kind of why I like that. I will say, I think, this one was also operator. This one I used massive. Bass 2, I tend for, like, pitch stuff, I tend to, I like using massive, but I kind of been alternating. I made myself learn FM synthesis in the past year, so it's like a challenge to myself to continue using it, getting better. I'm getting okay at it. Like, I really like the squishy sound. That's why it's called Squishy Wet. But I like the squishy sounds on this. There's some, like, liquidy, high frequency stuff going on. In any case, so that's the basses. I'll just keep bass 1, because that's what I composed it all to anyway. So you'll actually notice I have all of them kind of here, so I can copy paste them over into this section, because if I just play from here, it gets so laggy. The audio quality just takes a dramatic dip. And I'm on recording right now, so it's probably even worse. Anyway, the first wall I ever wrote was this one. I don't know if the colors actually match up here to what it is in the experience. I don't think I did that, actually. In any case. No. Gotta turn this off. There we go. So yeah, this is wall 1. And it's playing nothing, because I must have turned everything off when I actually exported everything. So yeah, the way I composed all of these is I did the drums first. I just kind of made some kind of rhythm, and then after that I was like, how do I add on to it? Generally, I actually composed layer 3 before I composed layer 2, so that would be this one. It's kind of like an insane circus waltz for this one. I do kind of like it, and this was the first one I wrote. And part of this, I actually tried to do something different from the first song from this one, which was to include a riser part in the second song, so that every wall has like some kind of riser element for the last 8 bars. So, you know, it feels like you're being propelled, like there's some kind of motion. Because the one thing about the first song is it is kind of just like, it just sits there at that energy for the entire time you're playing. So I thought it would be cool to have some kind of, like, you know, EDM. I write EDM, so it feels right to have a riser somewhere in there. You'll notice that that's just me speaking. A lot of music I write, sometimes I'll just be like, just do the thing I'm saying. And so I just record myself saying the thing I wanted to do. And then, of course, I put a ton of, like, digital signal processing on top of it, etc., frequency shifters, for example, especially for the riser. But, like, you know, like, it took me 5 minutes to say that, and it would have taken me half an hour to write that on hi-hats. So just use the stuff I recorded. Why not? We're allowed to do anything. We're musicians. So that's the first one. So that's the first one I wrote. The second one, I'm super proud of the kind of rhythm that came out. I was really worried, and in fact I am still worried, because I have not actually shown this to too many people yet. I'm worried that wall 2 is a little complex rhythmically, as in it'll knock you off the beat, but we'll see. You know, that's still to be revealed. I tried to put a big old crash on every downbeat to try and help orient your ear, but we'll see how that works. Yeah, again, you'll notice the first 2 measures kind of depart from this bit, which is the actual kind of pulse of the rest of the experience. So you'll actually, if I open this up, I have a keep time crash, which I might actually turn this up in the experience. Like, this is time. Hopefully you can hear this. I don't know how effective that's gonna be. I really like this one, and especially like one thing I like particularly is the layer 3, the high energy stuff. Is this timbre LFO stuff? One thing, just a pro tip for people who like writing super slidey kind of portamento type stuff with their synths is, you know, you can't keep the slides in the same synth and also have chords, but if you just copy and paste that synth a couple of times, so right here you'll have major third and major third, so this is 1 octave up and 1 octave down, and that way I have chords that all slide together, which is really fun. It's a really cool sound that I think people don't really take advantage of enough because, you know, in order to get the slide, you have to make it like mono. You have to only have one voice, so all the polyphonic stuff that you generally write won't have as much portamento because synths don't do that, right? But if you just, you know, just put it on different tracks, it can all slide together. And also, I mean, I didn't do it in this one, but in previous tracks, I have made the intervals between the synths not always consistent, so the slides can like kind of shift towards like a minor second or away from each other. I love sliding. So my music slides. I'll put it that way. But I really like this. I mean, of course, this synth also has like other stuff going on. Okay? There's like a bunch of, like if I open Massive, right, you'll be able to see like all this, the LFO controlling a bunch of various things, and the LFO 5 is being also LFO'd. The rate itself is being LFO'd by 6. So it is all over the place, and I use a lot of random stuff in my music, just random slides. It feels good. It keeps it interesting, you know. You know, adds a little bit of stuff that it would literally just take too much time for me to actually automate myself. Just use an LFO on an LFO and just don't have it reset. Just let it go nuts. Just make it make sounds for you. You know, save yourself some time. So that's wall 2. Wall 3 is, if I remember correctly, there we go. 1 second. Assuming it actually plays this time. Yeah, I probably muted everything because it's part of the, oh, it's also silent. Oh, there we go. Solo, that's why. I definitely recycle a couple of patches from previous experiences. So, for example, this acid patch that I used with Analog, I took from Oversaturated, which is, I think it's on SideQuest. You can buy it technically. It's okay. It was my first interactive music song, and so I used that as an opportunity to learn. And it still works. The actual interactions are a little clunky and difficult to explain sometimes, but I reused some of the patches from that for this song because musicians are nothing if not heavy recyclers. So that's fun. This originally was written in 4, which is why this is called Rolling 3, because when I wrote it in 4, and every time you transition to it from any of the other stems, it would just like hit you in the chest. So I did have to change that. I did have to like rewrite everything so it's in triplet feel, because it hurt. I was like, man, I put in all this effort. But no, it's better for having been rewritten into triplet feel because it really didn't. It hurt when it was in 4 and you tried to transition to it from anything else. So fun behind the scenes. And wall 4, this one is like it's fairly simple. I always include some wall like this. I try it's ka ka. You know, just so that you can, like, if you want, you can take some time and just listen to the bass at the lowest energy. Like, sometimes you don't want to flail your hands around. You just want to, like, stand and just look at things. So, wall 4, this, you know, let me play it for you. Oh, of course. Let me see this. What's been turned off? Everything, of course. Oh, something's really unhappy. Oh, okay, it was just thinking. So yeah, if I just solo the drums, it's simple 1, 2. You know, so it's just a place that's kind of a place of rest, basically. And then I have these 24ths here that kind of keep the triplet feel going. And the hats, of course. And you can even hear layer 3 is just doom, 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 doom. It's very straight, which is not generally the type of music I write. But, you know, it's important to have some element where it's not just all over the place. You can just sit, and it's on time, and it's not trying to fool you or trick you. So I threw that wall in for that purpose. And the wall 5, funny thing about wall 5, the most interesting about wall 5 is I was given this kazoo by my fiance, probably by the time you see this wife. You know, we weren't able to get married because of COVID. But that's happening soon. It's happening, you know, in the fall. So I'm excited about that. But she gave me this as a birthday present, May 2020, and it's like, and so I'm like, I have to use this. I was given an instrument. I have to use this in a track. And of course, what happened is I started developing a bunch of stuff and writing almost nothing. So I didn't really get a chance to use this kazoo. And I was like, I have to use it. I have to use it before my next birthday, because I was writing this music in like April and May. So I was like, I can't get another instrument for a birthday gift without having used this one. So the kazoo is in here. It's actually like, I put a bunch of processing on it because it's a cool sound, right? But of course, am I gonna hear any of it? Well, is there something sold or something? Oh, or did I just turn it off? That's why. So let me just solder, because and this is this is technically kazoo, what you're hearing. But if you want to hear it without all the processing on it, let me just turn off the. I have like 10 recordings of kazoo, so I would have enough material to kind of splice things together in a way that was interesting. There's 2 layers here, so I get some harmonies going between the kazoo. And there's some cool techniques. I like rolled my tongue and whatever, but I ended up not liking, the kazoo's kind of nasal. And it didn't fit too well with the rest of the wall, but I wanted to keep it in because I wanted to use the kazoo on something. So I just kind of put an auto filter on it. And you still get some of the pitch slide. The pitch sliding is the effect that I like about the kazoo the most, because you just sit, you know, like you get to create textures and sing, kind of slide all over the place. And again, I'm a slidey person, so like it's nice to just have, like, it would be more difficult to write the synth part to be that way. So the way I put it together, it was good to have the kazoo. I like it. It's a good. I really like the whistle synth here. It's just so cute. It's like it's the most relaxing synth I've ever made. I honestly like with the portamento on it. It just sounds like birds tweeting. I love it. I love it so much. And then the last wall that we've got is wall 6, and this is another one that I recycled layer 3 from a different project. This one is actually I recycled from Rave Gazebo, the titular song. You can hear the. It was upbeat, wasn't it? Yeah, it was this guy. You can hear that. That's from wall. That's the red wall from Rave Gazebo, the first song. That's my favorite patch I wrote for that one. I really like the red wall. It's my favorite one. But so I just put that in here because it's a useful background. It's just an octave drop after a certain delay. That's just in massive. There's just an envelope. Where is that? It's this one. Yeah, where it just waits a little bit and then it goes down, right? It goes down an octave. But it's a cool patch, and I did some cool stuff with that in the first song, but I like this. This is layer 2. This is the focus. And then the focus is this is stolen from Oversaturated. It's crap. It's gross. I love it. It is kind of dirty. It's you mess with the frequency of the filter as it opens, and I think I also let me see if I I always automate more than one thing. So yeah, the attack, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, the attack you also change, so you change the character of the synth as it plays. And you can, again, see, like, my style of automation is just kind of go up and down and see how it sounds. And then if you don't like it, like, for example, here, I'll, like, just make an adjustment, rather. So, you know, that's how it works for me, honestly. And then, of course, there's, like, you might not kind of realize this, but there's, like, 6 different risers that I just wrote that just play randomly. You know, and at the time of recording, I have not yet made it so the riser stays the same. So every time you switch to a different wall, a different riser will play in that space. But yeah, whatever. They all rise. They all at the downbeat. So it kind of works out. Maybe I'll get around to actually fixing that. That's a problem for future Greg OS. And that's, so I mean, yeah, I'll play. I could play like a riser for you, but like yeah, whatever. It's a riser. You hear him in EDM all the time. It's fine. So that's my tour of Condiment Tie Dye. Thank you for watching, and you know, go buy the song. You know, this is all part of an album, right? Go buy the album. But I'm glad I actually got a chance to write my own music. Dang it. Because otherwise I'm just developing, and I graduated Berklee College of Music, and I spent the vast majority of my time, like, trying to wrap my head around visuals and development. I'm like, man, this is not what I went to school. I mean, it is what I went to school for. I'm very glad what I'm doing. But, you know, I wrote music. Dang, I am a musician. So that's what this song was. It's like, I'm just gonna write something. It's been so long. Alright, but thank you for watching.